have this position tool in your chart, just click on it. This is the new BFT panel. This is where all the details for the trade are displayed.
Do you look to another time frame to see if there's a better, like if the local is different there, or is it always the same? So it doesn't matter in which time frame you look.
Okay, yeah, good question. So, is it possible to use the bridge on the C trader? No, so the bridge only works on MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5. What about trades the algo recommends, and a few candles later the algo says no trade zone? Should we cancel pending orders in this situation or leave it be? Awesome. So if you're new to the weekly Q&A, if it's your first time, welcome. I know some of you, it's not your first time, welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome to the weekly Q&A. This is where we go through questions. If you guys have questions about the navigator, about any trades, anything you guys want to talk about, feel free to ask. We don't go over X mode too much just because it's a little more advanced. So we try to keep it to more strategy mode trades. Doesn't matter what time frame it is on now, since we're on any time frame now. But if you guys have any trades you want to review that are in sonar, strategy mode, we can review those. Of course, we can still look at X mode with that as well. Just don't want to go into too deep to not derail people into something else. Make sure people are going through the right process. Talking about the right process, the way you guys should be approaching this is first you start with the meat. So first, we start with the daily strategy mode on the daily time frame using strategy mode, just turning X mode off, so you can get first familiar with the methodology and with the process. And of course, this should be done on demo. So that's the first step, is taking strategy mode trades on a daily time frame. That's going to be the slowest time frame. It's going to take some time for entries to get hit. It's going to take some time to take profit, but it's going to allow you to really get to know the process and really see how this thing works. If you jump into the 50-minute too quick, you're probably not going to have that much success. So you're probably not going to be able to trust the algorithm like you should. So it's important you go through the whole process. So start in a daily time frame using demo. There's no need to risk any real money here just yet. Start on demo, daily time frame, start taking those trades. More recently, I would say in the last month, there has been less trades just because we're in a slow time of the year. So especially December, we're going into December, it's going to be a little slower. Christmas coming in, New Year's is coming in. We got the elections that might, will give us a little more volume. But overall, December, if you look over multiple years, it's slower than if let's say October or February or March, etc. Once you're done with the daily, you've taken trades on the daily time frame. Then just turn on X mode and then see how X mode lines up with those trades. From there, you can slowly move into the 4 hour and the 1 hour. But if you don't understand these trades on a daily time frame, you're not going to have much success on the 1 hour, 4 hour. Unless you're already an experienced trader, then of course you can already move into that point. But if you're new, we recommend you guys to start on a daily because it's slower. You have more time to process things and just review the trades. Next thing you should do is join the global chat. The global chat is the group where all the other traders are in. That's kind of where people send in their trades. You can ask questions. People can answer your questions. It's a really good group to be in. So if you're not in that group yet, if you go to your week 2 library, you should be able to find a link there that sends you to that group. If not, maybe someone can drop a link into the chat, and then you guys can join that as well. So I saw some new people joined. If you just joined, so this is the weekly Q&A. If you guys have questions, you can put them into the chat. So if you guys have any questions, just put them into the chat. I think we can go through those one by one. I did have some trades that played out today, or I'm myself, I'm a profit. I don't know about you guys, but it looks like a good day for myself. What is TTE in BFT panel? Good question. So what TTE is? TTE means time to enter, or time to entry. Basically, what it means is how much time you've left to enter. It's not accurate. It's just a calculation based on the algorithm, but it gives you an idea kind of how much time you've left. So if you click on the BFT panel, it says TTE. For example, if it says 4 candles, that means if you're on a 1 hour time frame and it says 4 candles, that means you have 4 hours to enter this trade. If you're taking a trade on daily time frame and it says 2 TTE, that means you have 2 days to enter, because every candle equals the time frame you're on. So if you're on a 1 hour time frame, every candle you see on the 1 hour time frame equals to 1 hour. So if the TTE says 4 candles, means roughly it'll take 4 hours to get triggered on this trade. Again, it's not it's just a rule of thumb. Don't base your trades on that, but it's just a helpful thing to know. Okay, how much time do I have here? Do I, can I come back in a few hours, or do I have to set this up right now? So, and that's based on previous volume, right? So volume can change over time. You can have low volume 2 hours, but then the next hour you can have a lot of volume. That's why sometimes it's not as accurate. That's just something we can't control. We don't know when volume, if there's going to be a high or low volume. So that's something we can't really predict, but we can do some calculations to help you guys with that. Where do I see TTE? So let me open up my navigator quickly. 1 second. Okay, so you guys should be seeing my screen now. Yes. Okay. So if you have a trade open, if you click on this position tool, and by the way, before we had those boxes, so probably if you're new and you went through the training week 2, week 1, you probably saw boxes on those videos. So they actually got removed, just recently. They might come back because we've noticed people actually really like them. But right now, this is what we have. We have this position tool. So here, this is your stop loss, your entry, and then your TP1, your TP2. So we're going to add those boxes back. They're going to come back. Don't worry. But right now, this is what we have. We're just trying to find a better way to display those boxes. But hopefully, we can get those going soon. But yeah, going back to the original question with the TTE. So once you have this position tool in your chart, just click on it. This is the new BFT panel. This is where all the details for the trade are displayed. In the training and the videos, you probably saw this being if you click on this plus icon, you had a BFT panel option to open that. It used to be on a separate window, but now it's directly on the chart. So all you have to do is click on the position tool, and that's going to open up your BFT panel. So here you can see your risk reward, your trend, position size, what setup it is, if it's a buy or sell, TTE. This is what we just talked about, the TTE. This tells you how many candles there's left for the trade to be entered. So this one is 3 candles, so it would be 3 days because I'm on a daily time frame. This would be 3 days. So we can expect 3 candles to kind of go down into this entry, and then we can expect the entry. So again, that's just a rough calculations. It's not set in stone. It's just based on previous volume. That can still change over time. But that's the TTE. Can we ask questions about RTD? Yeah, of course. You can ask any questions about the navigator or BFT. What's your question about the RTD? Can I come on the mic? Yes, for sure. Let me quickly enable that for you.
Yeah,
Okay,
hello.
you can speak now.
Yeah, hey. It's better. It's better than typing.
Yeah, no worries.
So if you look to the RTD at the moment when there is a signal, or like most of the time the local is really thin. So what I have to so do you look to another time frame to see if there's a better, or like if the local is different there, or is it always the same? So it doesn't matter in which time frame you look.
Okay, yeah, good question. So the RTD is going to be the same on all time frames. It'll just look different, but it'll give you the same information. So the way you guys should be looking at the RTD and using RTD is, first you have to see, okay, what's price action doing? So it's always price first. Doesn't matter if you have an algo, if you don't have an algo, it's always price action first. After you've read the price action, then you can move to the levels. So then we look at the levels. Okay, how does our price action line up with the levels? From there, once we see the setup, we have the setup confirmed, then we look at the RTD, make sure we're going into the right direction. So RTD is our kind of our last checkpoint to make sure we're going into the right direction. So for example, if you look at GBP CHF right now on the daily time frame, you can see the global, which is really what you want to look at for the daily time frame. So this might not be the best example. Is on the global, you can see it's expanding like this. So that means that the momentum, the trend is growing, so it's getting bigger. And when we're taking these trades on a daily time frame, local, a lot of times when you see price going into your entry on a daily, a lot of times local will be down if you're looking to buy, because we're entering on pullbacks on these trades, and if we're entering on pullbacks, we need a small kind of momentum to push us into those entries. So a lot of times you'll see local going against you in a lot of those trades. Not always. Sometimes you can have both line up, of course, but lots of times you'll see local down and global's uptrending. Now, let's say you're taking a trade on the low time frame, because that would probably be a better example. Let me quickly see if we can find one. Let's go into AUDUSD. your USD. Okay, let me open up USD. Okay, there's one. Yeah. So, for example, in this trade, you can see global's up and local's up. You can see global is still expanding and local is kind of slowing down because we had this big drop, right? So we can expect that to happen. The RTD does look a little different on the 50-minute, but it's the same information as the daily. So if you want to have a cleaner look at the RTD, you can look at the daily. So if we just open this up a little more so you guys can see it clearly, you can see it's clearly uptrending, right? So you can see even lots of times you'll have these it'll go very thin in a pullback and then it'll expand again. So it'll go very thin and then it'll expand again. So it's important not to put too much emphasis on these crosses or on these when the local RTD gets very thin. What matters is, okay, what's price doing first? And then you confirm what you're seeing on a chart with the RTD. That's going to be the best case scenario. So if we look at this trade on the your USD on the 50-minute chart, first thing I want to make sure is that I'm not going to be buying a resistance, because that's not going to work out. So the best way to confirm this, if I first go into the high time frame, so I'll go into the 4-hour maybe. So let's have a look. So in the 4-hour, you can see we just rejected this very strong resistance up here. If you guys want to learn X mode, we got notes about that in the handbook. Make sure to read that first before you ask X mode questions, because we can go pretty deep on those. So this here is a strong resistance, and you can see price is being pushed down. So if you look at the chart, you can see some support here just based on the chart, which lines up nicely with our 50-minute here. So this here would be our 50-minute trade. So overall, you can see it clearly we're uptrending, right? So we can see we have higher highs and higher lows. This was a previous high. We opened a new high here. So this high is higher than our previous high over here. If you look at the highs and lows, so you can see, we're uptrending. So now we had a larger pullback. You're probably going to see, local get even a little thinner even when price starts to consolidate around this area. But overall, we can expect price to bounce at least to this level here, this neutral, which is also our point of exit. Why? Because even let's say that the bulls broke and the bears are coming in, even then we need another pullback, right? Because the market can't just keep falling. So even if we're entering into a bear kind of trend, we still need price to push up again. It doesn't have to happen, but this is what I'm thinking. So, overall we're uptrending, but we did have a large push down. So we can see we broke this previous low here. So this was a push down, and we can't just keep falling down. Price needs to breathe. It moves in ways. So we can expect price to go up here to create a lower high. So this here is a high. We can expect price to come down into this area again for a lower high. So this was a high. We didn't expect this to be a lower high if price were to continue going down. So then we would be going down like this. So if that happens, we can still get a TP2 up here if we buy here. But because this is a strong support, price could be pushed above it and then go further up. That's something we can predict. And that's why we want to get out here, because this will be the point in the market where the sellers could come back in. So I know I didn't answer your question directly, because you can't just blindly look at the RTD. You have to kind of, form an opinion of the market. So just by looking at the RTD, it looks like a really good buy. And it is a good buy because both RTDs are up. We're bullish. It had a pullback, which is good. We need those pullbacks in the market. But, I wouldn't try to push the trade higher than this level here, because this is the point in the market where we can expect sellers to come back in and push price down. Yeah, so I hope that kind of helps. Does that help? Who was the question? Sebas, I think. Was that you? I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly. Okay, awesome. Okay, let me quickly go through the chat. Make sure I'm still following these questions here. Can we get a sneak peek at the sonar panel? I'm not quite sure what it does. Sure, I can quickly show you how it looks. So this is sonar. It shows you trades that are available in the market right now. For example, one we have GBP, JPY on a BOC, 50-minute long. Yeah, so it just shows you trades that you could be taking, so you don't have to scan the market yourself. So this will be coming out to everyone, I believe, within the next few weeks. I don't have a date, but it will be coming out soon. When we have a bullish trend and the algorithm is showing a sell, we should take it until we get a bearish trend, more than one candle. for most of the trades I've seen, by the time we get a bearish trend, it has hit TP1. What do you advise we do? So with the bullish trend, are you talking local, global, or TD, Jojo? And it also depends on what time frame that is. So it's a little harder question to answer right now. It totally depends. So for example, if you're trading the 50-minute, you can go against the global trend and still be in profit. You'll find the strategy mode trades are always with both local and global in your favor, because that's a higher probability trade. So yeah, I guess it kind of depends. Do you have an example I can look at, Jojo? 50-minute time frame. Yeah, on the 50-minute time frame, the local is more important. So you want to make sure you're always going with the local trend. The global, of course, if you can go with a global in a 50-minute, local and global, that's better. But most of the time, you want to make sure that the local is on your side. And if it hits TP1, that's totally fine, because you have to remember we're entering on pullbacks, right? So for example, if we look at this trade, GBP GBY, it already played out once. But if we perhaps look at this on the 1 hour, you can see it was just wicks. There was not a full retest yet. So now you can see the full candles coming down and going for the retest. So we're entering on pullbacks, and if we're entering pullbacks, lots of times it'll look like the trade already played out. It'll look like we already hit TP, but it's totally fine to set up those trades as long as it's not overly repeated. The second time, a lot of times, is still fine. If it's the third or fourth time, that's where you want to be a little more careful. So this is a trade I was actually looking at before it came on Sonar. For me, this looks like a good trade. We can see local is expanding. We can see global is up. I believe that we had a 4-hour candle closing nicely above the 2. So this looks like a good trade for me. It's something I would set up. But yeah, to answer your question in a short way, 50 minutes, always make sure local is in your direction. After 3 days, if there's no entry, scratch the trade. Ralph, yes and no. So this depends. There was one strategy mode in the daily time frame that I had set up. It was UCCHF, and I had it set up. I forgot about it. It was a pending order, and must have been a month later. It only got triggered. So then I, got the entry and I hit TP. So, but at the time of the entry, I made sure I'm still going with the overall trend. So it was a short in UCCHF. Global was still down at the time of entry, so I kept the trade. If I would have gotten the entry and I saw, okay, global is uptrending, then I would have gotten out. So as long as the trend is still in your favor, you can still take the trade, because if you set up a buy on support after 3 days, it'll still be a buy on support. Like, that support doesn't change. Only the probability will change. So if the trend changes and there's more sellers coming into that market, you can expect that support to break. But that the time doesn't really make a difference as long as the buyers are still in control. I hope that makes sense. Is it possible to use the bridge on a C trader? No. So the bridge only works on MetaTrader, MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5. It's the most used CFD trading platform. So I recommend you use that. I tried C Trader. It's okay. I am more used to MetaTrader. That's why I prefer it more. But I do prefer, if I would be able to choose between those three, I would for sure pick MetaTrader and connect it to the bridge, because then you can trade directly on the navigator, which is really nice. And if you use strategy mode, you don't need to calculate lot size and stuff like that. It all does that for you. So I think it's a pretty cool feature. What about trades the algo recommends, and a few candles later the algo says no trade zone? Should we cancel pending orders in this situation or leave it be? Really good question, Raul. In most cases you can leave it, because lots of times what happens is when volume slows down, the trade will disappear and it'll come back later. So this is more true for the low time frames, and also because you'll see it more often happening, but it's also true on the daily time frame. Doesn't matter what time frame you're trading on, I guess. You'll see a lot of times when you use this more often, you'll see it coming back later. So you removed it, and then maybe the entries came and you didn't put it back on because you didn't see the signal. So once you see the setup, you can put it on. If the algo takes it off, you can keep the trade as long as you're still going with the trend. If the trend changes, you see more bulls and bears, for example, if you're trying to sell, then it's time to take it off. But rule of thumb, you can just keep it. You do want to make sure you're not being overexposed. So especially when you're trading low time frames, there's going to be a lot of opportunities in the low time frames. So don't set up all the trades. Review all the trades that are available and just pick out the best ones that you see have the highest probability. based on the price action you see in a chart. The daily time frame trades, you can set those up with, pretty much without looking at the price action. With the lower time frame trades, like the 1 hour, 4 hour, and 50-minute, those you do need to have a little more experience. And that's why it's important to kind of work yourself down. So start in the daily and work yourself down. We don't want you guys taking 50-minute trades if you're not ready for it, and then you're going to blame the algo, and then even though it was your fault. So Sonar or even the low time frame trades, they do come with some responsibility. So you have to learn it and slowly pick it up. You can't just jump into it. Is it possible to create a watch list with stocks that appear in the search bar, say UK stocks, but no pre-list under, say, equities US? Yes, if you go on your navigator, and if you have the watch list open like this, if you don't have it, click on the plus icon, and then you can open up the watch list. So once that's open, you can click on this plus icon to create a watch list. So it's called this Q&A test. Click submit, and then you have this thing, new watch list open. And then from here, you can add any markets you want. So if you only want UK equities, you can add those, just search them up here. I don't know, nothing pops to mind. Let's say Uber, for example. Uber, just click on it, and it'll be added to your watch list. If you want to remove one, you click on this X on the remove icon, and that'll be gone. If you want to delete an entire playlist, you can click on the, not playlist, watch list. If you want to delete a watch list, you can click on this trash icon here. That'll delete the entire watch list. I trade London, New York session. What are your thoughts about the 50-minute signals around this time? Perfect. Yeah, those are great because you're going to have a lot of volume in the sessions. So the 50 minutes works great. You get up in the morning and evening, whatever time it is for you to trade those sessions. Maybe you take 2 trades and then you're done for the day. So it's a really good session to trade. I love the 50-minute. That's my main time frame as well. I trade the 50-minute, the 1 hour, primarily on X mode, Sonar as well. But yeah, X mode, that's really what I do most of the time. Yeah, those are good sessions. Asia session, you'll see it's very slow. You'll notice that your win rate goes down in Asia session just because there's less volume in the market. So it's not the best session to trade. I know the people in Australia, you guys probably like that session, but you'll see that you're not going to have much success with it. Best sessions will be London and New York. Is short-term time frames available on the strategy mode to trade for the demo account? Yes, that works as long as you have an active subscription thereon. And I cannot see any trade setups. What am I doing wrong? So if you're not seeing anything, sometimes a common mistake is that you have the strategy mode off, which is this button here in the top left. So click on that. If there's still nothing here, that means there's no trade. So that time you can maybe go to, for example, if you go, I guess you can go through your Forex majors and just browse through different time frames. So start in daily, work yourself down into the 1 hour and the 15, see if there's anything there, depending what plan you're on. For example, USD right now, we talked about it before, in the 50 minutes here, we have a trade available. So just browse through different markets, different time frames, and see what's available. If you do want to see some of the trades, some of the good trades that are available, check out the weekly market review and see what trades are on there. If you don't see any of those trades available on your navigator, then there's an issue. In that case, please message support. If you click on the top left here and you click on support, that's going to open up our beautiful support box, and you can get in touch with our support team. They're pretty quick during the week, so they should be able to help you out there pretty fast. How many active orders would you generally have standing by on the daily 4-hour time frame? Probably usually, I think the max usually what I have is 5. When I'm trading low time frames, I never have more than 3 trades open at a time. Usually I'm at 1 or 2 trades open at a time. I usually don't go over that, because as you saw today, they're not correlated. Nothing is correlated, and you think, okay, I got this trade open here on GBP/USD, and then maybe I have a trade open on CHF/JPY. Those 2 currencies are not correlated, but you saw that they're both kind of went the same direction. So we have times like that when money flows from, let's say, currencies into a different market, whether that's Bitcoin or equities, and you'll see a lot of currencies being affected. So just because they're different currencies doesn't mean you're not overexposed. That's why I only have a few trades open at a time. Would you trade 50-minute trades during this time? No, I would not. So this is the time where, 1 second, someone's calling me. So this is the time where volume slows down and you're going into rollover. So the rollover is the time where is at midnight time, where a lot of institutions and the banks will close the orders and then get ready for the next day. So spread is going to be very big in those times because there's not as much volume in the market. And that's the time you don't want to trade. So next best trading session would be Asia, which is going to be in a couple hours. I want to ask about the timing of our limit orders. Is it better to place a limit order before price has reached a major confidence zone because X mode is indicating that's a strong level, or is it better to still let price reach it, watch for entry triggers? And okay, I think I know what you're asking. Yeah, so it depends. It depends. Lots of times I'll just set it up because I know based on this setup or based on this price action, it's a very high probability trade. So I take that trade. Sometimes, let's say I'm already in a sequence of losers, or I'm already having a bad week. Then I'll wait for price to come into the level, see how it reacts, wait for a rejection candle, and then I'll set up my limit order. So depending on my performance, depending on market conditions, that's where I kind of decide, okay, do I wait for price to go into level first, or do I just set it up? Most cases, you can just set it up. If you need more confirmations, that's a great way to do it. If you're just trading on the majors on the daily time frame, how many trades a week would you be taking on average? Good question, Glenn. It depends if you're trading strategy mode or X mode. X mode, you can expect if you're trading a 4-hour and daily, if you're kind of using those in combination, you can expect anywhere from 5 to 8 trades a week. On strategy mode and daily time frame, you can expect right now you can probably expect 1 trade a week. Some weeks in good months you can expect, I would say, 2 to 6 trades a week. On those, doesn't mean they're going to trigger and open all at the same time and close at the same time. It means, okay, you'll get 6 opportunities that are good that you can take and set up. But yeah, X mode usually 8 is a good number. When you say open, do you mean live open or limit order? So when you say open, I mean trades that are running, like floating. Pending is when I set them up, but they're not triggered, so they're not open yet. So open orders are orders that were pending, but they got triggered, which means they're now open. What's your advice for new starters? So take it slow. Start on demo. Make all mistakes that you can make. Really just trust the algo and just take all trades just to you can see, okay, how does this thing work? From there, scale back and only focus on the best trade because your win rate is not going to be the best if you just take all of them because you're going to be overexposed, etc. So, but just to get an understanding of the algorithm, just take everything you see and then take a step back. Okay, see, okay, what worked, what didn't work, based on the data you can improve, and then start taking only the best trades on demo. From there, move into X mode and see how do these trades play out with X mode. From there, move into low time frames, and then once you see some consistency in that, then you can go live. And then once you're live, you can start getting some consistency with your live account because you'll see new emotions coming in when you go live. Again, you don't need a big account to start trading live. And then once you have some consistency on your live account, I recommend maybe looking for a prop firm you can join just to get more access to trading capital, especially if you want to go full time. Prop firms are really good with that. And of course, if you do want to accelerate your learning and really take things to the next level, go full time as a trader. That's where the dojo is going to help you guys a lot. So many pendings would you generally have? On my swing trading account on the daily time frame, usually 3 to 4. On my day trading, usually 1 to 3, because they're not going to be open at the same time. I want to avoid situations where they're going to be open at the same time. Like I said, I only have 1 to 3 trades open at the same time, but I can have multiple pendings because they're not going to be open at the same time. I hope that makes sense. And of course, if I have 1 trade open, I'm able to move it to break even. That's a risk-free trade, so I'm able to set up more trades. What's a swing setup? It's a swing setup that basically takes more time. So there's like scalping, there's intraday, and then there's swing trades. Swing trades, they're going to take a few days to play out. Intraday, so like the 50-minute, the 1 hour, those are going to be quicker trades. All right, guys, that pretty much concludes our session for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining. If you guys have further questions, you can put them into the global chat. Again, that's kind of where everyone hangs out. So you feel free to join those if you haven't already. And we're doing this every week. So next Monday, you guys are free to join as well and bring your questions. If I wasn't able to answer the questions today, please forgive me. Make sure to bring those questions back next week, or you can ask in the global chat. And make sure to join the inner circle. If you guys are not in there yet, you can join the inner circle by completing week 2 assessment in your week 2 library. If you guys want to go full-time in trading and get more access to more trading capital, learn X mode, become a really good, sharp trader, that's where the dojo could help you guys as well. So if you guys have questions, you can message me about those as well. And yeah, hopefully I'm going to see you guys all back next week. Looks like we got a ton of people here this week, which is awesome. Hopefully I'm going to see you guys next week as well. All right, guys. See ya.